Somebody said that Honorable Mpuga said since he left office, it is not operational. I don't know if he actually said that, but I don't want to compare myself to him. We are not comparable. No, we are not. I am Hon Ssenyonyi. And other leaders are other leaders. So we have different yardsticks. When I came into this office, that's now when you began to know about the corruption in the Parliamentary Commission, which has been happening in the past years. Because that's what they would sit and engage in all of this corruption. Now you know, because I'm speaking about these issues, and I'll not stop to speak about them. So if somebody is complaining and saying, but now you're not different, you're more radical, why don't you keep quiet about certain things? I am not him. I am Hon Ssenyonyi. I don't entertain corruption, so I will speak about it. I'll condemn it. So the corruption that's happening in the Parliamentary Commission, which you never knew about, now you do, because we are here. And we'll keep letting it out. Sometimes we do it directly. Other times, say, okay. They might say, hey, but Joel seems to have a personal issue. Then I'll give the information to somebody. You put it out there. You have been seeing information out there from different people because we shall avail this information. That's why I'm in this office. I'm not in this office to massage anyone. I'm in this office to keep the government in check, to make sure the taxpayers' money is properly utilized. When that does not happen, I will speak out, I'll expose the rot and all of that corruption. No wonder they don't want me to attend the Parliamentary Commission meetings, because they know the dealings that happen there. Because if all was happening the right way, why don't they want me to sit there? So clearly now you know that all the while they would be sitting in these meetings cutting deals. That's why, please don't try and compare me, please. No. Our role is to keep the government in check. We are saying when we get to power, we shall just be arresting the thieves. We shall not be struggling around, censure motion, now court, now this, now press conference. We shall just arrest and lock up the thieves, because there we shall have the powers to do that. Now, ours is to keep the government in check. And that's why the country is aware of many of these things, because we are playing our role. The country is aware. And that's why when you go out there, interact with them, they tell you about these things, because we talk about them. If we keep quiet, they will not be in the know.
The Supreme Court on 31st January of this year delivered a ruling saying civilians should not be tried in military courts, and actually ordered that all pending cases before military courts should be tried, should be transferred to civilian courts. Up to now, that has not happened. Each time I have raised that matter on the floor of Parliament, the Attorney General has said, well, it is the duty of the DPP to formally sanction files and charge people. And the Attorney General was saying, well, we cannot direct the DPP, even according to Article 120. She's meant to operate independently. So, in other words, throwing the ball in the court of the DPP. The outgoing DPP seems to also be throwing the ball elsewhere, saying, well, they're meant to carry out investigations and so on, but the duty to charge is yours. So, I think that in that regard, she has failed these people who have been trying to seek justice, because now they belong nowhere. We have seen two recent rulings. Yasin Sechitoreko, also known as Machete, versus the state. And another, Anthony Agaba, also known as Bobby Young, versus the state. They've been trying to seek bail. Very recent rulings. And court said, no, we cannot grant you bail because you are not yet legally before us as the High Court. Your files have not been transferred from the military courts to the civilian courts. And so they remain in abeyance. And that would even mean they are being held in prison illegally, because the military court, which sent them there, is functus official, no longer has jurisdiction over them according to the ruling of the Supreme Court. The files are meant to be transferred to civilian courts. And now the civilian courts are saying, we cannot even hear your matter, we cannot grant you bail because you're not yet before us legally. And so these people are being denied their right to bail, their right to justice. They're still being held illegally, and everybody is blaming the other. So I think that the DPP should have moved fast on that issue. And that has been my concern, because now if you have left that work unfinished, you're now going to be the head of the High Court. So which position are you going to take? Because now the High Court, which you're meant to head, is saying we cannot attend to these people's bail hearings because they're not legally before us. The DPP is the one meant to sanction these files and all of that. And so you leave people in abeyance and stuck legally.